One of my absolute favourite features in Power BI are bookmarks. Bookmarks, working with the selection pane, allow us to control what we're seeing. Let's say, for example, I go to the sales analysis page and I want to create 3 little buttons underneath the chart. And when you click one button, you see the information by year. When you click another button, you see it by month. And when you click another button, you see it by day, which is really user-friendly. So first thing I'm going to do is probably collapse the date and the visualizations pane. I'm going to go to view and I'm going to bring up bookmarks, and I'm also going to bring up selection, and we're going to work with these two. Now, the selection pane at the moment tells me there are 4 objects on this page. If I click the first object, that is what this is, because this has become selected. If I click this is the second table, and if I click this is the first table, and if I click this is the text box. Now, the fact that all 4 of them are visible is because this little eye is turned on, which means that they're showing at the moment. So it's a really great way to see actually what objects are currently on a page and what their names are. You can give them names, like I could double click table 1 and say, actually, can we call this month table? And I could double click this and say, well, actually just call this year table. And this here is actually the title. And this here is actually our chart, so I can leave it as that. You can also drag things up, so I could put title first, followed by the year table, followed by the month table, and then followed by the actual chart. So the selection pane is going to become very handy for what I have in mind. So let's look at, first of all, selecting the chart. I'm going to click on the chart and I'm going to go to the visualizations pane, and in the visualizations pane I can see that the x-axis is year. Now I need to have year, month short and date on my x-axis. So let's bring up the data pane. So we're using all these panes now. So year is first, and then month short from my date table. Month short, which is just 3 letters for the month. And then I'd like to see date. So I want to be able to see this chart by year, by month, or by day. And so that's why I've added those 3 fields to my x-axis. Now, what I'd like to do is go to the bookmarks pane, and this button here is what you use to add a bookmark. So I'm going to add 3. 1, 2, 3. Just by clicking it 3 times. This one I'm going to double click and call this bookmark year. This one I'm going to double click and call it month. And this one I'm going to double click and call it day. Okay, so easy enough to just double click and choose. Now, ensure that my chart is showing the years. Let's collapse this. Let's collapse this. Let's now stretch this out because we have the room. And let's drill up and up until we're just seeing years. Okay, with the years showing, I now want to update the bookmark to recognize that yearly view. So I right click year and I say update. I can rename, I can delete. It's going to remember my data. It's going to remember any filters and display elements, and it's just going to remember all the visuals. So I update that. So I've updated my year bookmark to look like that. Now what I'm going to do is drill down, choose this, drill down to my months. And now I want to update the month bookmark to remember this. So I right click month and I say update. Now what I want to do is drill down to the days. So I go down another level, and here's my daily view. I right click day and I update that bookmark to remember the day view. So how do I switch and see my different views now? Click on year and that's the year view. Click on month, that's the month view. Click on day and that's the day view. So what you do is you get things looking just right, and then you update the bookmark to say that's the view that I want that bookmark to remember. You can click on view, but I find just clicking on a particular bookmark is easy, and then just exit that. So we've made 3 bookmarks. Now what I want to do is I want to create some buttons. And so what we're going to do here is, what I'd like to do now is insert a bookmark navigator. In earlier videos, we've looked at page navigator for navigating pages. This is a bookmark navigator. So I'm going to go to insert, I'm going to go to buttons, I'm going to go to navigator and ask for a bookmark navigator. And here it is up in the top. So I drag that down and put it underneath my chart. Now what it does is recognize that there are 3 bookmarks. And if I click on year, hold the control key, that's my year view. Click on month with the control key, that's my month view. Click on day with the control key, and that gives me my day view. So I've got a quick, easy way to switch between the various bookmarks. Now, what you can do is you can actually change the format of this bookmark navigator. If I bring up my format pane, you can choose shape, for example, and instead of rectangles, you could have arrows. Instead of arrows, you could have pill. Various ways that you can format the shapes of the bookmark buttons. You can also choose a style. So for example, I'm going to go to style here, and I'm going to hit this drop down and choose hover. If I choose hover, then further down I get to choose a fill, and I can say what color, and I'll go for a gold color if I hover on a particular button. And I might put the shadow on, and I might even put the glow on, and you can just see a transformation. And the glow can have its own color as well, so I might glow it to a dark blue. And if I was to hover on the button, you can see it goes yellow, and you can see that it's got a shadow, and you can see that it's a dark blue. So you can easily arrange and format. I could even go into grid layout and say, look, I wanted a vertical collection of buttons. Let me then just resize it, drag it down, and I've got a vertical collection of buttons. I could then perhaps put this down here, put this further down, and make it more readily accessible by putting it up to here. So easily creating bookmarks and bookmark buttons. Hi there. What I'd like to show you in Power BI now is when we want to show a lot of visuals and we don't have a lot of room on our page, we can swap out our visuals. So let's create 3 line charts on the one page that swap each other out depending on whether we want to view this or this or this. I'm going to start by taking a copy of our sales analysis page, right click and duplicate that page, double click its name and call it targets, and then also edit the text box to say targets as well. All right, so this is our targets page. Let me just get rid of that band. There must be an enter there. That's what's done it. Okay. Now, the chart. Click on the chart, and I'm just going to stretch it up. Let's get rid of sales last year, and let's get sales year on year. Let's delete those 2. So all we've got is just year, month, date, and sales figures. And let's change it to a line chart. Okay. Now, this line chart, I'd like to show on it a band of acceptability. I want our sales to fall within a certain range and for that to show on our chart. Now, to show a band on the chart, we're going to have to define our upper and lower limits. And so we are going to have to create some measures. I would like to create 2 year measures, 2 month measures, and 2 day measures. So let's go to the fact orders query in our data pane, right click fact orders, new measure, and let's call it upper year line, and it's equal to 600,000. That's my first measure, and there it is there, upper year line. Now let's go right click, new measure, and create a lower year line, equals 300,000. So that's my upper and lower for the year chart. Now let's just create a couple for month and a couple for day since we're here. Right click the query, new measure, upper month line is equal to, now let me just check what we want to, upper month line is 150,000. And the lower, new measure, lower month line is equal to 100,000. And two more, right click, new measure, the upper day line is equal to 10,000. Yes, let's do that. Last one, right click, new measure, the lower day line is equal to 5,000. Okay, so when I check out my data pane, I can see 3 upper measures and 3 lower measures. Okay, in your bookmarks, let's just right click month and delete the month bookmark, and right click day and delete the day bookmark, and let's just focus in on year for now. Now the year chart is a line chart. I want to add the 2 measures, upper and lower, by year and create a band of acceptance. So with this particular chart chosen, I'm going to go to further analysis in my visualizations pane, and I'm going to go to error bars, and I'm going to turn the error bars on, choose enabled on. I'm going to grab upper year line and put that in my upper bound, and lower year line as my lower bound. And so there you can see, if I just collapse the bookmarks, there you can see my error bars. But I don't want to show them as bars, so bars goes off and band goes on. And there you can see my band between 600,000 and 300,000. Now, if you didn't like the color, you could expand error band, choose fill and line, and instead of matching the series color, let's turn that off, we could choose our own color. So you can choose whatever color. You can go into more colors. You can choose sort of like whatever you want, and I'm just going to go for something like that. And then I'll collapse the error band. So that is my line chart with a band, target band. Now I would like to go to bookmarks, right click year, and update the year bookmark. That's the year one. Now I'm going to make it only 1/3 of its size, because I need another 2 copies of that chart underneath it, one for month and one for day. And then we'll customize those 3 charts to show us year, month and day. And then when we've got them looking right, we'll overlay them and get them to swap out. So let's just click on this chart, Control C, Control V to make a copy and just pop it down underneath it, and Control V to make another copy and pop that underneath it. Now this chart here, I'm going to click it. I'm going to go to my, collapse my bookmarks. I'm going to go to my drill. I need to turn my drill on, and I need to drill down to the next level, which is month. So there's my month chart. But the error bands reflect the year error bands. So now I need to go to my further analysis, and I need to change my upper year band, get rid of that, to my upper month line and my lower month line. So then that's more month related. Perfect. Then I'll click on this chart. I'll turn my drill on. I'll go down to the months and then down to the days. I need to now change my bands. So I get rid of my upper year and my lower year, and I add my upper day, which was 10,000, and my lower day, which was 5,000. And so my band sits across here. So I've created 3 charts: a yearly chart with the band that's appropriate to the yearly figures, a monthly chart which is appropriate for monthly figures, and a day chart which is appropriate for day figures. Now what I need to do is make each of those charts a bookmark. Let's collapse the data, collapse the visualization, and focus in on the bookmarks and focus in on the bookmarks and focus in on the selection. So when I click on sales by date, it says that's the sales by date chart. Sales by month short is that one. Bookmark navigator is that one there. And sales by year is that one. Let's drag sales by year up. Let's make it the first one. So sales by year is chosen. It's visible. But I don't want to see sales by date and sales by month. So I click the little eye to hide that visual and hide that visual. Then I'll stretch this down and I want to save that as a bookmark. So I go right click on year and I update year because the bookmark already exists. I just want to update it. Now what I'm going to do is put that back to being only 1/3 of its current size. I'm going to show month. I'm going to hide year. I'm going to stretch month out so it takes up the whole space. And I'm going to add a bookmark, double click, called month. And I'll right click and update it. This is the monthly view. Now I'm going to hide the month, show the day, stretch the day out to take up the whole area, add a bookmark, double click it, call it day, right click it and update it. So that's my day view. So let's see if this works. If I click on year, I should just see the year bookmark. That needs fixing. When I click on month, there's month. When I click on day, there's day. Let's click back on year and stretch it and then update. So that should fix it. Year, month, day. We now have 3 charts swapping themselves out. Each view is a bookmark, and the bookmark remembers what's shown and what's hidden. And so even though we have 3 charts, we hide the month and day and just show the year for the year bookmark. We hide the year and the day and just show the month for the month bookmark. And we hide the year and the month and just show for the day bookmark. These buttons should work if I control click, control click, control click. I have created 3 line charts, each with a target band of acceptance by customizing the error bars and each swapping each one out. And let's have a look at this, for example. I might decide to go to my net and freight movement page. And in here, I want to add a scorecard for the net year on year. So I'm going to click a blank part of my canvas, go to my visualizations, grab my scorecard there, click it, and resize it. Just pop it, say, there and there. And then I'm just going to format it, data, to show my net year-on-year percentage, and I'll add that to the fields. So that's a blank at this stage. If you're seeing blank, it means that only a certain year is showing. So what I would do is on the visualizations pane, we've got year here. I would actually clear the filter. So you're seeing all the years, and then you can see the year on year is 67.79%. And I'll just move this a little bit and size a little bit. Okay, I'll just close some of these task panes. Now, what I'd like to do is conditionally format this particular scorecard. So I'm going to go Format Visualization. I'm going to go to General, and I'm going to go to Effects. And the sort of effect I want to turn on is the background, and I want to choose a color. But I want it to be conditionally format. So I'm going to hit this little conditional formatting button. And so this window now appears. So I want to choose rules And the rule does apply to the net year-on-year percentage. And I'm going to say if a value is blank, if it's blank, can we just give it a purple sort of a colour? Might go for that one. Oh, maybe something a little darker. And then I'll add another rule. If a value is greater than or equal to a 0 and less than 100, can we make it go blue? I'll choose that blue. And then I'll add another rule and say, look, if a value is greater than or equal to 100, or negative 100 actually, and it's less than or equal to 0, then can we make it go red? So basically, if it's less than 0, can we go red? If it's greater than 0, can we go blue? And if it's blank, can we go purple? So it's conditionally formatting it. I'll go OK to this. And because it's greater than 0, it's gone blue. What I want to show you is that if we choose 2019, then it's blue. Oops, let's just turn these all off. 2019 is in fact blank, purple. 2020 is in fact blue, and 2021 is in fact red. So you can conditionally format a lot of your visuals so that colour speaks volumes and grabs the reader's attention. And then I'll just select all again to go back to blue. Join me for the next video. Now practice what you've learnt, absorb what we've covered, and I'll see you in the next video.